Welcome back, Millennial Morticians. Thank you for joining me again for another episode. I am great to have you today. I have some amazing guests scheduled with you next, and I think they're going to bring the energy, they're going to bring the difference that funeral service needs in our industry. I'm so glad to be with you all this Wednesday. I'm excited. I've been waiting for these guests to come for the last 2 weeks. It's been on my mind all week to have them. They are called Seametery Services, the Hendricks family. So please help me in welcoming to the platform Russ and Tracy Hendricks. Hi, guys. How are you?
Hey,
Hey,
Jaden,
thank you
thanks
for
for
having
having
us.
us here today.
Hey, no problem. I'm glad you guys are able to join me. I know we've talked over the phone, and I just think you guys have an amazing product.
Well, thank you very much.
Thank you.
It's
Okay,
exciting
so
to be here.
the Millennial Morticians have a few questions for you. We think what you have is really up to date, it's modern, it's innovative, and you really should tell our audience why your product should be offered in funeral homes across the country for people to use and be able to have access to. So, one of the questions that we would like to ask you is what should millennials be why should millennials be prompted to use your product in funeral homes across the country?
Well, it's offering another option to a burial. A burial is not as prominent as it used to be. A lot more people are going with cremation. And what we're trying to do is bring forth um, an opportunity to create a destination location for people to celebrate that life. And by using our services, we're putting the cremated remains in an artificial reef, which is giving back to the environment, the ecosystems, and it'll be a future visiting place if people snorkel or swim or what have you.
Wow, that is amazing. It's so different and so out of the world that when you hear it, it really gets your brain thinking like, wow, how does this work? What do I have to do as a family? How do I get involved in the process? So can you explain what cemetery services for our listeners, can you explain to them what the process looks like and
Sure,
how?
absolutely. So we don't do the cremation itself. We're an after cremation service. We offer several different headstone designs for a personalized touch. So they can go to our website. They can browse through several different headstone designs that we currently have. But we also offer custom designs, so we work with really talented artists, concrete artists, and sculpture artists, so they can really come up with any design shape that you want. And we once you pick whatever headstone design you would like, we send out a what we call a sea chest to you. It's a nice wooden box. We send it to the customers. They put the cremated remains of the loved one inside, and there's also a little section inside the box for them to add driver's licenses or wedding rings.
Dog tags.
Any little momentum that they might want to go along with them. And then they send it back to us, and we pour it, when we're pouring the headstone, we pour it into the base of the headstone. And then we include a nice engraved cast bronze plate that lists their date of birth, date of death, and everything. And then once we fill up a main base, or what we call a reef base, we're going to put about 6 to 8 headstones on that. Inside the reef base is going to act like a columbarium, so it's a little bit more of an affordable option that you can go to. You don't have to just have an headstone design. We can put you in the base itself, and then it gets lowered into the waters. Right now, our first cemetery that we're going to have is called Azure Acres, and it's right outside Destin, Florida. So we're really excited
Wow.
about that.
That is incredible. So when you talk about, because I think a big thing about being a millennial forward product is that my generation, we like choice. We like having options. So when it comes to the design and being able to choose different products, what have you seen that people have been using in design wise, and what can you take as a design to be used in that space?
Well, there's a lot that goes into the design process. If you choose to do a custom one, we have to make sure that the load is stable, because with our designs, we like to include hollow areas that growth is going to attach to and that fish can swim through.
Right.
So it's all part of the pouring. So there's got to be particular load capacities. And we're talking, Jaden, these things range from 700 to 900 pounds, just the ones we have right now.
Wow. Wow. Wow.
And we are getting wonderful feedback in addition to what we've pre-planned and pre-designed. Everybody we talk to has their own personal idea of, ooh, I'd rather this, or can we look at that? Or
Right.
and it's great. Yeah.
That
So
is
pretty
incredible.
much if we can design it, it can go in the water.
And we've gotten, excuse me, we've gotten quite a bit of interest now in pets as well. So we're going to work on a very small headstone for pets to go with them. So it
Paw print. That would be great.
Paw print.
Yeah.
That's exactly
Yeah.
what we're looking at. Yeah.
So we're getting quite a lot of feedback from customers about their own custom design. So it's getting really exciting.
Yeah.
That is really cool. That is really cool.
Thank you.
I can just see in my head a whole bunch of designs that have popped up.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I hear how you mentioned that you want to make the design so that life can attach to it and fish can swim through it and whatnot. So, what are the environmental benefits of what you're doing there? I mean, it seems to be that it has a benefit to both the ocean and to the families at the same time.
Go right ahead.
It absolutely does. And we picked where we picked for our first cemetery because the water there, for one thing, is very conducive to growth in the ecosystem. And the bottom of the ocean is just like a sandbox there. It needs help.
They're always sinking ships and things like that out into the Gulf because there's just not a lot of natural rocks and things under the water for the basic building blocks of life to start growing to attach to. So that's why we're really focusing on the Gulf area right now. We hope to get into Houston and down towards Fort Lauderdale, but we really want to go, and up in Virginia. But
near Virginia, yeah.
But the Gulf is where it really the absence of the natural underwater formations to really make that ecosystem grow, that habitat grow, is lacking there. So that's what we're really trying to. Our headstones are designed to really give as much surface area as possible and catch those little plankton and things like that floating by just to get those building blocks started. And that's hopefully we're going to be able to get some, if we could get an acre of coral growth here, an acre of coral growth there, I think we could really start having an impact on the health of the oceans.
And the industries. There's a lot of fishing competition out there. And, if seas get overfished, somebody's got to do something to help
Right.
keep the population going, right?
And luckily, I live in a coastal area, so I know I hear a lot about reef deaths and things like that. Coral reef dying,
bleaching. I mean, we're trying to find things that we can give back to. I mean, we love the ocean, and we don't want to see it die. And there's a lot out there that people do that aren't beneficial to the ocean. And so we're hoping that with what we're doing, it'll kind of
there's also
undo some of that.
There's also some studies that say that one of the impacts of coral reefs, the degradation of them right now is global warming and everything. It's the carbon dioxide. Everybody's worried about the offset of that now. I think millennials are really interested in the environmental impact, much more so than the older generations. So that whole, I think, benefit of giving back to the planet and trying to restore the health instead of just taking up a little bit of a void in some land areas now that cemeteries are. There's some cities and things that just can't have any more downtown cemetery room and things like that. So it's just another option to give back to the planet. And
to add on to that, we're grateful for people like you that are willing to. I think it's just so beautiful. When I think about your product, I think about you taking the life that is that person and you're giving that energy back to the ocean, because there's not people out there that are willing to put something back into it. And the funeral industry for many years has been a very not as environmentally cautious industry. I mean, when you think about the steel we use, the fluids that we use, just things of that nature, that a lot of people don't realize that a lot of the things that we use hurt ourselves oftentimes, and we don't realize that over time just the damage it can do to you. So that's beautiful that you guys are willing to invest back into our nature and into our oceans and bring life back. You're restoring life in another way, and people need to know that. People need to realize that. So what got you into this funeral industry? Because it's really dynamic. It's not for everyone. What got you guys involved into it?
Well, I live at, we're both from Atlanta, and it being landlocked, we always, whenever we went on vacation, just we automatically went south. So we really love the water down there. We've always been just, we would always go to Panama City and the Destin area. That's just where most people from Atlanta, I believe, go to. My parents were lucky enough to have them have graced a house, a small house that we grew up with in a very small coastal town called Panacea, right below Tallahassee. So I always had the ability to maybe go down there once a year. It was rented, so it really wasn't mine per se, but it was always sort of in the family. And whenever it wasn't rented, we would go down there, and it was just giving us back that peace and really the tranquility that nature area right down there gives you. And so I was always in love with the water. And then in 2019, I'd always said, if something happens to me, just push me off the end of the dock down there. And I'll be fine. But
Right.
it's flat lands. I would stick up out of the water, obviously. So anyway, in 2019, I had a medical situation that was pretty life threatening, I think.
Hmm.
And it really made me contemplate what I was going to do, because I don't want to have a traditional burial. And I do want to be cremated, and I do want to be part of the ocean somehow. So once I recovered from that medical situation, I started formulating how I would do that. It went from being able to 3D print a mold and maybe being able to send it to customers and have them do it at home themselves. But when they have to weigh 700 to 900 pounds, that's sort of impractical. So I had to work through some bumps and get in touch with a lot of government agencies and everything, but panned a way through, and I'm really excited about hopefully being able to do this and get back to the planet.
Wow, that is truly incredible. I like how you said that magic word that my audience likes to hear is you use technology in a way to solve the problem. And when you do that, you're able to to connect with a whole different audience that you were never able to reach before. I mean, you started reaching out to government agencies and different types of people. You were able to serve people individually, one on one, and that's truly incredible and that's powerful. Families deserve to be served in the way that they feel is comfortable for them.
Yes.
Yes.
And when you offer that and you're willing to give them new designs, give them new places that maybe they want to be, places they wanted to go and couldn't have went, but now because of your service, they're able to get there. That is incredible. It's magical. And it's just something special about that option to be
Thank you.
able to do that, you know? Wow.
Well, we are both children of veterans, and both of our fathers are honored in we've lost them both. And my father's in a new veteran cemetery, and his father's at a gorgeous Atlanta lifelong establishment cemetery. And that works for them. They were older generation, and we honored that. But my goodness, the cost of a modern day land burial compared to what we can offer. And I will say, Jaden, ash scattering might be for some people.
Right.
We don't feel that really gives back anything. You just, that's fine if that works. And there are other companies that have ventured into this as well, but we have found that we are more affordable and we're certainly more personalized.
Yes, that's what it comes down to. Personalization. How are you willing to adapt to your customer and serve them? I always tell people that funeral service is service. So if you're not great at that, then you're not going to be able to really connect with the customer. But if you're like the Hendrix here and your heart is in it and you have experience and you have love and it's just a real connection you make with people, I wouldn't see why not you'd be the first person I'd call if I knew a family that needed this
Thank
kind of
you.
service.
Thank you.
That's wonderful, dude.
So, really quickly, can you tell funeral homes how they're able to get in contact with you? What is the process like?
Yes, we have a direct phone line that one of us will answer all the time. I can give you that number. It's 770-330-9552. And our website is seameteryservices.com. SEA, like the sea, like the ocean, Metairie, like cemetery, but Seametery, services.com.
Well, funeral home directors, millennial morticians, you heard it best. Hendrix, thank you so much for taking your day out and joining me. I really appreciate having you guys. And when you come down to Virginia, might have to take you to get some crab legs or something.
We are. We're going to
Yes,
definitely take you
absolutely.
up on
One
that,
more
Jaden.
thing, saltafterlife.com is much easier. Like you like to live on the salt water, saltafterlife.com. Home of our blog, future blog, home of a future registry that people will be able to opt into if they place somebody with us and they want it registered with the GPS coordinates and all those things. We will have that available. So I'm sorry, I forgot to mention that quickly.
All right.
Saltafterlife.com. That's kind of our groovy lifestyle on the beach kind of living. And then, of course, Seameteryservices.com.
Well, you heard it best, folks. The Hendrix, Seameteryservices.com. They're doing something game changing, and it's amazing. I cannot wait to see you guys this May. I look forward to it. I really do.
Us too. Jaden, thank you so much.
Thanks so much. Let's do
Thank
it again.
Y'all take care.
Take
Bye-bye.
care.
Well, Millennial Morticians, that concludes today's episode. I had the wonderful honor of having them on the show, and I can't wait to meet them. Please feel free to contact them if you know anybody that could use their services at hand. I look forward to seeing you guys next Wednesday for the next episode. Stay positive, and remember, this is the